How long did it burn
Yeah,
for?
I think they started on April 4th and they went to about April 9th or 8th or 9th. So they lasted for 4 or 5 days.
So that first day, you're probably like, okay, this has happened before. But once it got into the second or third day, was there any like worry that this wouldn't stop for a long time, or were you pretty sure it would come to an end soon?
Well, I think everybody wanted it to end as quickly as possible. You know, I think that everybody knew the longer it went on, the more destruction there was going to be, et cetera, et cetera. So everybody wanted it to end as quickly as possible.
Okay. You said that. Well, wait. Let me start over. Could you, when this was happening, did you understand why it was happening? Were you like, could you see their side, or were you completely disgusted with what was going on?
Well, I think that, as I said before, everyone was certainly upset about the fact that Martin Luther King had been assassinated, that anybody would be assassinated, to start with. And, 2 months later, uh, Robert Kennedy was assassinated. So, we'd had these President Kennedy had been assassinated. It was a horrible thing. But I think that, what was the question again? Kind of lost my thought.
Could you understand where this
Yeah.
was coming from?
No, well, you understood why they were upset. But I think people were pretty impatient with the fact that they took it to a violent level and started destroying things.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody could have been and probably was a little bit sympathetic with their cause, but then as it escalated, I think people lost their sympathy and it kind of turned to disgust.
Oh, okay. Could you ever see yourself getting this angry and reacting in this way?
No. I can't ever see how I would feel justified to destroy somebody else's property just because I wasn't getting my way.
Okay. And could you see something on this scale happening today? Something like this on the same scale?
I can. I mean, we've seen we've seen it just recently with Baltimore and what went on in Kansas, no, in Missouri, Ferguson, the riots there, and in Milwaukee, and this nonsense that's going on all the time. Everybody's protesting everything, and yeah, I can definitely see it happening today.
And do you think President Trump would be more equipped or less equipped than President Johnson was to deal with it?
I think as equipped, yeah. And I think I think, yeah. It just depends on how far he's willing to go to put an end to it. No one wants to have to bring in the military, the National Guard, all of those things. But I think when it reaches the point that they're destroying things, then it needs to be stopped.
All right. I think that's all my questions. Thank you, Grandma, so much.
You're welcome.
Is there anything else you want to tell us about Washington burning? Like, do you have any stories or anything interesting that you remember about it?
I think that we've pretty much covered it. It's just, it was a surreal experience because we were very naive coming from Utah, Idaho. We went back there and we'd only been there probably for a couple of years and they had the riots in Washington, D.C. And, as I said, when we were growing up, we probably hardly ever saw a black person. But, working in the government over the years, we've had many very dear friends that are black. And some of them are absolutely wonderful people. And so, what can I say? I think it was just, kind of the time, and certainly change needed to come about, and I think that it has. I think it's gone maybe too far the other way because, you get this affirmative action, you get some of these things where blacks are given, they went through a period where they had the school busing, where they were busing black kids out of their neighborhoods to white neighborhoods and kids from white neighborhoods into black neighborhoods and lost the total concept of community schools. And I think that was bad. You know, as with everything, it seems to sway too far one way or the other. We can't seem to get a happy medium. And I think that, like, for example, with affirmative action, um, it's not right because I think everything should still be based on merit, not on as far as whether you get into a school, whether you get a job, whatever. It needs to be based on merit and not because you're a man or a woman or black or white or whatever the circumstances. It should be based on merit. I think that's the fairest way.
All right. Thanks, Grandma. That was awesome.
Okay, love you, honey.
Love you.
Do you remember Washington burning, Grandpa?
She's asking you a question.
What?
Do you remember Washington burning when you were in D.C. in the 60s?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, at that point in time, I was back there
Yeah.
with Sharon.
That's what Grandma said.
He was in Roslyn. You
Yeah.
were working in Roslyn.
Yeah.
Sat there and could watch 14th Street burn, literally.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Wow. What did you think about it, Grandpa?
Well, I went for
31 years.
31 years that I liked very much.
Yeah.
That moved, that's mitts and bits and peaches of going one way or another and up and down or whatever. But it's
But what she's asking is, what did you think about the riots?
the riots. Well, we basically stayed out of them, to be very honest with you, because
True.
I was inside the Central Intelligence Agency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
So we don't run around out there, even if it's a fire.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
All right, Bubs. I'll
Thank you so much, Grandma and Grandpa.
drop off
Love you.
the...
I hope you don't get a death, sweetheart.
Yeah, because both of our phones are almost dead. Sorry. Running
I'll
on
let you know how this turns out.